Immortal music floats, divine sounds curl up. There is a great way in heaven and earth, and all things have spirits. Where there is spirit, there is God, and the way lies in the heart. Once you awaken the divine sound path, heaven and earth will be yours to walk from now on. Wu Yu, who had no chance to cultivate immortality in this life, only envied the Mandarin ducks and not the immortals. Unexpectedly, I stumbled upon the path of rhythm, using sound as a medium, conveying emotions through sound, and moving all living beings with emotions, and relay the message on behalf of heaven, search for people on behalf of heaven, step by step spread throughout the heavens and all realms, resounding throughout the vast expanse of the universe. Chapter 1. 3 years of repair, 1 heavy year, 10 years of no-inch progress. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wu Yu, a disciple of the emotional sword sect, cultivates once every 3 years and makes no progress in 10 years. Due to poor qualifications, we cannot meet the minimum standard for sect promotion. Let's tidy up and go downhill tomorrow. In a purple bamboo forest of the Love Sword sect, an old man said to a young disciple. Got it, elderly. Upon hearing this, the young disciple Wu Yu turned pale and said with a gloomy expression. Although Wu Yu had anticipated the arrival of this day earlier. But when Mr. Li announced to him himself, he still felt like he was struck by lightning. Oh, did I cross my head back then? Or perhaps crossing boundaries? Wu Yu looked up at the sky and sighed deeply, feeling extremely depressed. 13 years ago, Wu Yu traveled from a blue planet to the heavenly sound continent with his soul pierced. He was a disciple who had just joined the Love Sword sect at the age of 6 and was also named Wu Yu. Perhaps it was the young Wu Yu who got angry after practicing martial arts, but what's going on? He just failed his own practice. In this way, Wu Yu, who had been pierced by his soul, was reborn with his body possessed. Wu Yu, who had just lost the responsibility of screwing screws, couldn't believe that his luck had turned around. I joined the cultivation industry as soon as I first arrived in a different world. It was only after 3 years of hard work that Wu Yu was able to reach the level of refining qi. Afterwards, it remained in the field of gas refining for 10 years. For this reason, Wu Yu has been suffering greatly, and in order to prevent his newly emerged cultivation of immortality from dying prematurely. Wu Yu, who knew his spiritual roots were too poor, picked up the spirit of screwing screws again. Attempting to break through a path of cultivation by diligently practicing day and night. However, in this land of heavenly sounds that only recognizes spiritual root talents. No matter how hard he tries, he cannot elevate his level or change his own qualifications. Wu Yu only has a spiritual root of ordinary and inferior level, and is the lowest ranking existence. Even if you have lofty aspirations, you have to face reality. The spiritual root levels in this world are divided from low to high into 9 levels. Mortal, yellow, mysterious, earth, heaven, saint, emperor, immortal, God, and so on. Each level is further divided into lower grade, middle grade, top grade, and top grade. Gradually, he became increasingly decadent and disheartened. Some disciples, like him, left the sect as early as 10 years ago to seek a new way out. In order to cherish, I finally stumbled upon this opportunity to cultivate immortality. He stayed in the sect for an extra 10 years, but still couldn't open the door to cultivation. Kid, don't put on a lifeless appearance. You are not the first or the last. Like you, a garbage spirit root, get out of here as soon as possible. Taking advantage of his youth and strength, as well as his good skin, he stayed in the sect for a few more years. Why not build a large harem after going down the mountain and have a few more children? In 3 to 5 years, I will return to the Love Sword sect with my child. Hee, it's not a bad thing. A beautiful story about a father and son practicing together in the Love Sword sect. Elderly had already become accustomed to this, and when he saw Wu Yu's expression uneasy, he couldn't help but comfort him with a few words. Get lost, you old immortal. Wu Yu companion pretended to be angry and cursed. Elder Li's name is Li Changqing, and he is over 60 years old. His qualifications are slightly better than those of Wu Yu, and he is a top-notch spiritual root. 10 years ago, since he reached the 9th level of qi refining, he knew he had no hope of promotion to the foundation building period, so he decided to stay in the sect and become an external elder. I usually like to joke, my mouth is a bit damaged, but I am not a bad person. Alright, you're committing a crime below, kid. I advise you not to listen, but unfortunately, your spiritual foundation is extremely poor and your talent is extremely poor. You're still here to fix a yarn, a hammer. Elder Li couldn't help but fly into a rage and raised his hand as if to strike. Unexpectedly, before he could finish speaking, Wu Yu jumped up and hugged his hand affectionately, saying, "Hey, you're a fellow villager." The intimidating Elder Li jumped up and dodged from a distance, shouting loudly, "Kid, get out of here. Who is your old friend? I don't have those bad hobbies, please get away from me." Wu Yu knew the other party had misunderstood and quickly explained to him, No. Elder Li, I just wanted to ask you, how do you know about yarn and hammers? Che, you're here every day, muttering about yarn, hammers, and so on. Even if I don't want to listen, my ears are about to be cocooned by you. Elder Li retreated back cursing. Wu Yu was stunned, only to realize that he had been making no progress in his cultivation. In a state of distress, he accidentally spoke up and was overheard. After this persuasion, Wu Yu's melancholic mood was alleviated a lot, and her thoughts also moved. Even if Elder Li did not come today, he knew he had no face to continue staying in the sect. The Marshall brothers who entered the sect with him initially, some of whom had slightly better qualifications than him, all left the mountain early, went home to marry and have children, and established a cultivation family. As Elder Li said, once one discovers that among his descendants, there are children with the ability to cultivate immortals, they are overjoyed and embrace the love sword sect. Now there are several descendants of his fellow disciples around him, each with a higher realm and stronger cultivation than him. If we follow the cultivation world and only consider strength regardless of age and seniority, Wu Yu would have to call them senior brothers. This has made Wu Yu, who has been stagnant in cultivation for 10 years, feel extremely embarrassed. What a wonderful child. He looks extremely agile, but he has no connection with cultivation. Li Chang took a long look from afar, still feeling the blow. After Wu Yu, who had a worried expression on his face, sighed and slowly left. The purple bamboo forest has regained its former calmness, leaving only a rustling sound. If my dream is shattered today, I'm afraid I won't be able to cultivate immortality from now on. 13 years of hard work will eventually go to waste. Is it true, as Elder Li said, that we are going down the mountain now? Even if one is unwilling, their own qualifications. Alas, it's still fate that manipulates people. Wu Yu's eyes were blank, staring at the purple bamboo forest in front of him in a daze, unable to help but murmur to himself. In the end, it turned into a long sigh. After a long sigh, Wu Yu seemed to remember Elder Li's words and found a broom to clean the front and back of the house. Although this place is far from the center of the emotional sword sect, it belongs to the residence of external disciples and is superior to tranquility. After Wu Yu arrived, she found a large purple bamboo forest on the back mountain and fell in love with it, so she settled down and lived there. 13 years of time is neither short nor long. A simple thatched cottage and a bed made of several wooden boards were the place where Wu Yu practiced. This is a shabby house, only my virtue is fragrant. This is Wu Yu's evaluation of his thatched cottage. After cleaning the front and back of the house, Wu Yu washed her hands and clothes, and took a long piece of cloth from the wall. When he sat down on a long blue stone in front of the purple bamboo forest, holding a long cloth strip, his whole body fell silent. As the long cloth strips were untied one by one, a purple flute was exposed inside. Judging from its material, it seemed to be similar to the purple bamboo in the purple bamboo forest. Gently caressing the purple flute in her hand, Wu Yu seemed to be facing her first love, unable to let go. Encountering a close friend in high mountains and flowing water, searching for a close friend at the ends of the earth and the corners of the sea. From then on, I only envy the Mandarin ducks and not the Immortals. After a moment of caressing, Wu Yu faced the empty purple bamboo forest road. This is a helpless action that he often takes in extreme distress while practicing. Chapter 2. Only envy Mandarin ducks, not Immortals. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Especially in the past decade, it has gradually become a daily compulsory subject for Wu Yu. 10 years without progress, only the flute can relieve the worries in the heart. Ming. Wu Yu sat upright and placed the flute close to his lips, slowly blowing it. As the flute sounded, the purple bamboo forest became even quieter. The melodious sound of the flute is like a thread, like a tearful cry. A silent melancholy slowly echoes over the purple bamboo forest, as if telling the story of ancient times, and as if telling the sorrow of yesterday. Memories come and go, sour, sweet, bitter, and spicy, all surge into my heart one by one, fluttering and fluttering between heaven and earth. Experience the twists and turns of life. Sighing at the injustice of fate, there is nothing more than this. Unconsciously, tears streamed down my face. This blow is one night. During this time, Elderly walked several times to the edge of the purple bamboo forest, and in the end, he sniffled and retreated. The next day, just as it was dawn, Wu Yu put down the flute and wiped it again, carefully wrapping it in cloth. Slowly getting up, he returned to his thatched cottage and silently tidied it up. Quietly glanced at the thatched cottage, picked up a package from the bed, carried a long cloth strip on his back, and resolutely turned around to close the door. I took a deep look at the purple bamboo forest again and walked away without looking back. Elderly, my disciple has come to bid you farewell. Wu Yu walked up to Elderly's door and said. Damn it, what are you talking about? You cried and howled all night. The old man's heart was so cold that he couldn't sleep all night. I just lay down and was awakened by you again. Do you mean to have a grudge against me and curse me for dying early? Elderly cursed and opened the door. This. Wu Yu had a black line on his face. What's going on? Get out of here now. Elderly angrily cursed. Wu Yu had to bow to him and hurriedly walk towards the foot of the mountain. Kid, what is a hammer? You ask about the yarn. So, what is yarn? You ask a hammer. You. Li Chang was very angry and took off his shoes, ready to throw them over. When he looked at Wu Yu's lonely back, it seemed that he couldn't bear it and started cursing again. Hee, kid, don't think I don't know your thought-provoking thoughts. Although the flute you play is captivating and gripping. I flirted with those girls, but unfortunately your qualifications are limited. Even if flowing water is intentional and falling flowers are emotional, there will ultimately be differences between immortals and mortals. After this farewell, Xiao Lang is a passerby, why bother coming? Getting out early is the best strategy. Having a baby as soon as possible is the ultimate plan for cultivating immortality. Go back and catch a nap. Elderly cursed and watched as Wu Yu walked further and further away. With a loud bang, he closed the door and went back to rest. Wu Yu came down the mountain and headed straight to Xianyin town 50 miles away. Since coming to this foreign world, he has hardly ever left his sect. Through some casual conversations with fellow disciples, anyone who cultivates immortals is still respected and welcomed in this world. By Baozi, it's warm. Brother, do you want 20-year-old purple spirit ginseng? Sir, would you like a bowl of fresh beef noodles? Young master, here is a set of cultivation secrets that suits you perfectly. At noon, Wu Yu arrived at Xianyin town and looked at the people coming and going on the street, the constant cries of selling, as if they were from another world. Xianyin town, formerly known as Xianyin village, is a peripheral town developed based on the Love Sword sect, with a radius of only 2 or 3 miles. Although sparrows are small, they have all 5 internal organs. Most of them are shops that sell spiritual herbs, medicines, and artifacts. There are also some refining pavilions, alchemy pavilions, and so on, which basically cover the needs of cultivators for cultivation. However, the general grade is not high. Wu Yu walked and strolled, looking at everything in a daze. After eating something casually and filling my stomach, I asked the local landlord to buy a big house. Wang Baochang was overjoyed to see a cultivator settling in the local area. Immediately lead him to the front of a house that Wang Yuanwei entrusted him to sell on his behalf, just as he returned home dressed in luxury. Wu Yujian saw that this mansion covers a wide area, is tall and magnificent, and is magnificent. Inside, there are carved beams and painted buildings, pavilions, platforms, and towers arranged in a neat and orderly manner. What's even more rare is a large area of purple bamboo forest. Immediately rejoice and inquire with Wang Baochang about the value of this mansion. Wang Baochang said he originally needed 10,000 taels of silver, but as a cultivator, he could make a deal of 9,000 taels. Wu Yu took out a piece of inferior spirit stone and gave it to Wang Baochang. He bought this house. Tell him to quickly find someone to change the entrance of the house, and the excess will be counted as his reward. Wang Baochang took the spirit stone and his eyes lit up. A piece of inferior spirit stone is worth 10,000 taels of silver, only a little more. Apart from spending a few hundred taels as a storekeeper, he still has a few hundred taels to earn. Immediately happily helped him complete the procedures and arranged for someone to change the door. When Wang Baochang helped him change the door, he happily left. Perhaps just as she left the sect, Wu Yu looked at the vast and empty house with mixed feelings, mostly due to inner disappointment. In a daze, a wave of fatigue struck, and he lay down on a chair in the house, falling asleep. When he woke up, it was already dusk, and when he was lighting up, he had to hurriedly eat some food outside. When he filled his stomach and returned to the house, his thoughts lingered for a long time, but he remained restless. Unconsciously, he walked to the bottom of the purple bamboo forest, untied his long cloth, picked up his flute, and slowly blew it. Woo! The sound of the flute is melodious, with countless thoughts and sorrows of separation floating in my heart one by one slowly, spreading in the house, gradually drifting towards the distance, bang, 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 bang. I don't know when, just as Wu Yu was blowing so hard that I forgot everything. Perhaps, but suddenly there was an untimely knocking on the door. Wu Yu, who was suddenly interrupted by life, couldn't help but feel extremely angry. As he hurriedly opened the door and was about to get angry, he couldn't help but lightly exclaim, "Wang Baochang, why are you? What are you guys doing?" I saw Wang Baochang leading a large group of people to the door of his house. "Mr. Wu, today you are moving to your new house, and we are unable to disturb you." Just. Wang Baochang seemed to feel a bit embarrassed and said. Wang Baochang has something to do, but it's okay to say so. Wu Yu glanced at the group of people behind him, and it seemed strange to see that they were not here to cause trouble. "Wu Gongzi, it's like this. The initial sound you made was quite pleasant. Later, as soon as I lay down, the tone you played changed again. The more I heard it, the more sad it became, blowing out the old man's tears for many years." Wang Baochang looked sarcastic. "Wu Gongzi, you should be celebrating your move to your new house today. Wu Gongzi, it's not that I don't want to hear it. It's just that the tone you're playing is too poignant, making people sound tearful." The people behind Wang Baochang also spoke out one after another. Wu Yu suddenly realized that she had been boasting for most of the night without realizing it. The people behind Wang Baochang, of all ages and genders, may be disturbing their neighbors themselves. "Sorry everyone, I'll just pack up and stop boasting." Wu Yu quickly spoke humbly. Worrying about people's clear dreams is the most taboo thing. Wu Yu has just arrived, but he doesn't want to be hated. Chapter 3. Immortal Music Fluttering and Divine Sound Fluttering. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sigh, I've blown my heart cold. I can't sleep in the second half of the night. Someone sighed and shook their head as they walked out. I've heard some music before, but I don't have this feeling. This young Master Wu, how could he blow people's tears out? There is also humanity. Why don't you tell us something festive, Mr. Wu? Anyway, we won't be able to sleep in the second half of the night. Someone suggested. That's it, that's it. Young Master Wu, you can boast about something festive. We're all here, Quan Dang will help you celebrate your housewarming. Someone suggested again. Everyone agreed, and even Wang Baochang looked at him with a hopeful expression on his face. Okay, everyone, please come inside. Wu Yu felt a bit embarrassed and quickly extended his hand to invite him. When everyone entered the mansion with him, they couldn't help but wonder why it was dark everywhere. Wu Yu finally realized that she had become accustomed to staying in the sect and had always been accompanied by the clear breeze and bright moon in her cultivation. Hurry up and greet Wang Baochang and others to help him light up all the lights in the house. As the lights lit up one by one, pavilions and towers appeared one after another. Water pavilions and flower beds light up one by one, creating a brilliant atmosphere throughout the entire house. Everyone was overwhelmed and praised one by one. I also saw that he was young and golden, with a graceful appearance. He came from the nearby Love Sword sect and was a cultivator. They all envied him and asked if he had ever been married. Wu Yu almost couldn't resist the enthusiasm of everyone, so he had to be vague. If there was a suitable cultivator, he could introduce her. Everyone is an ordinary person. Although they were slightly disappointed upon hearing this, they also know that these cultivators usually seek out people from the same path. Instead, after visiting the house, they became enthusiastic about listening to music. Wu Yu originally enjoyed tranquility, but couldn't resist everyone's kindness. I had to come back to the purple bamboo forest and sit upright. Quietly caressing the flute for a moment, it finally reached my lips and slowly started blowing. When everyone saw his solemn expression, they also listened attentively. Woo! The melodious sound of the flute rang out again, a clear, soft, and pleasant sound slowly spread through the purple bamboo forest. Everyone's eyes lit up and they all listened attentively, without blinking, closely watching his every move. The sound of the flute is melodious, like a trickle of water. The sound of the flute is clear and clear, like the murmuring of a clear spring. Unconsciously, everyone was dazzled by the melodious sound of the flute. The sound of the flute was initially gentle, but later became softer and softer. The expressions of the crowd also became more relaxed, as if they had washed away their fatigue. The sound of the flute is becoming increasingly melodious, like the sound of heaven. In the melodious and gentle sound of the flute, everyone's expressions also became increasingly relaxed. Waves of heartfelt smiles also appeared on their faces. The sound of the flute entwined endlessly, lingering in everyone's ears repeatedly. Everyone was intoxicated upon hearing it, unconsciously completely immersed in the melodious sound of the flute. Woo! At the end of a song, the lingering sound lingers. When the last sound of the flute came, everyone was still immersed in the beautiful and melodious sound of the flute. I just feel that the aftertaste is endless. They can't come to their senses for a long time. Dingling bell, fairy music fluttering, divine sound curling up. There is a great way in heaven and earth, and divine sounds connect with the gods. The heaven and earth divine sound system is about to start. Can you please enable it, young master? Open. Wu Yu, who had just finished playing, was suddenly startled by a voice from Shihai and instinctively replied. Ding, congratulations to the young master for successfully activating the heaven and earth divine sound system. Please convey the message on behalf of the heavens, young master, and spread it widely, spreading the great way of divine sound. TSK, the divine sound of heaven and earth, transmitted on behalf of heaven, speaks so high, great, and supreme. Then Wu Yu is somewhat skeptical. Ding, it's not just a deception. Although the young master is proficient in music, he has already gained a deep understanding of the three flavors. If one can transmit messages on behalf of the heavens, there will be many benefits and high income. Oh, isn't it the welfare of the traveler? The legendary golden finger has arrived. Wu Yu just woke up and felt a bit uncertain. Ding, young master can understand it this way. Please spread it widely. Spread a yarn, lousy repairs it once every 3 years and makes no progress in 10 years. Just left the sect, you came too late. Wu Yu said somewhat displeased. Ding, it's not too late at all. There is a great way in heaven and earth, and all things have spirits, where there is spirit, there is God, the way lies in the heart. Once you awaken the divine sound path, heaven and earth will be at your disposal. The young master transmitted the message from heaven to earth, traveling throughout the world. You can smell the great way and practice it yourself. Transliteration is cultivation, and cultivating immortality and spirit is within it. Young master, why worry about not achieving cultivation? Stop, stop. Stop it, hurry up. Humph, saying sounds better than singing. Like me, my spiritual roots, aptitude, and talent are vastly different, and I can't even survive in the love sword sect. How can I spread the word? Wu Yu was confused by this one after another, feeling a bit toothache, and said indignantly. Ding, aptitude is not a problem, spiritual roots can be improved, and talent is not a problem. As long as the young master delivers the message from heaven, Ding, do you accept the benefits from Dai Tian Xuanyin? Collect, collect, why not collect? Did you say it earlier? After talking for a long time, I still said my saliva was dry. Wu Yu shouted loudly. Immediately filled with anticipation and a hint of excitement. Is there any worse outcome than this? It's already the worst spiritual route, at least give it a try. Wu Gongzi, what's wrong with you? Just as Wu Yu was preparing to receive the system benefits, everyone had already come to their senses. When they looked at Wu Yu as if he had been fooled, sitting on the ground without saying a word or moving, they couldn't help but let out a soft cry. Shoo, everyone, stop shouting. Perhaps after Wu Gongzi finished blowing, he entered the practice. Let's not disturb his cultivation, let's break up now. Wang Baochang quickly stood up to greet everyone. Everyone was taken aback when they heard this. They carefully examined Wu Yu and saw that his eyes were slightly closed, as if he was not sleeping, as if he was practicing. They couldn't help but marvel at each other. People in the martial arts world are different, and they can practice while blowing. They slowly withdrew from the Wu mansion. Wu Yu naturally knew about the departure of everyone. His divine consciousness is communicating with the sea, waiting for the critical moment of welfare, and he has no time to attend to them at the moment. Ding, the benefits are here. A jade flute, a divine sound cultivation technique, a cultivator robe, a storage ring, and 10 lower-grade spirit stones. Oh, there really is. Just as Wu Yu was feeling impatient for a long time, everyone left and suddenly a pile of things appeared in front of him. He quickly picked up the things on the ground and looked at them one by one. Jade flute, also known as jade sound divine flute. Its voice is ethereal, profound, and distant. Wu Yu tried to play and found that the tone was more rounded and the range was wider than that of a purple flute. He tried on the moon-white cultivator robe again, and saw a row of golden small characters tattooed on it. The divine sound master cultivator robe was of any size and fit perfectly. He is more than 1 level stronger than his original wrinkled sect monk robe. Inside the storage ring, there is a space of 10 zhang, which is exactly what he needs at present. Chapter 4. There is a great way in heaven and earth, and there is a divine sound in the world. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh, the divine sound cultivation technique seems to be shrouded in a layer of mist, why only the qi refining technique appears? Wu Yu secretly had some doubts. Later on, he didn't think much. No matter how high level the technique was, he couldn't use it now. Oh, my qualifications have really changed. From the original, bottom-of-the-line, existence, the lower-level spiritual root has now been upgraded to the middle-level spiritual root at the mortal level. Just as Wu Yu was picking up a lower-grade spirit stone to cultivate, she was suddenly startled again. It seems that this heavenly and heavenly divine sound system, apart from being a bit like a chatterbox, chatters incessantly. It's not entirely bragging, it's a bit reliable. He scanned his body again with his divine sense, and then he was overjoyed. He immediately followed the divine sound to cultivate his spiritual skills and began to practice. Boo! In no time, a light sound quietly rang out in his sea of consciousness. Wu Yu trembled all over, unconsciously breaking through to the second level of qi refining. System: how to transmit messages on behalf of heaven. Wu Yu saw that she had just made a breakthrough after descending the mountain, and her spiritual roots had also improved. She immediately asked eagerly. Ding, transmitting sounds from heaven, using sound as a medium, conveying emotions through sound, and moving all living beings. Joy, anger, sorrow, and joy are all emotions. As long as it can move all living beings specifically. Wu Yu knew that the system was a chatterbox and quickly interrupted. Specifically, for every 10,000 creatures touched, the young master can receive a divine note. Be more detailed. In detail, during the qi refining period, as long as you accumulate 10 divine notes, you can increase your spiritual root level once every 10 days, thereby changing your own qualifications. During the foundation period, accumulate 20 divine notes and increase the spiritual root level once every 20 days. By the same token, every time you cross a great realm, adding 10 divine notes and 10 more days can increase your spiritual root level once. For example, if you are currently a mid-level spiritual root at the mortal level, as long as you accumulate 10 divine notes, you can upgrade to a top-level spiritual root at the mortal level in 10 days. Damn it, we need to move 100,000 creatures in order to elevate our spiritual root level once. Oh my goodness. I can't even snatch it, I have to move them all. Aren't you intentionally deceiving others? Scammer, scammer. I was deceived, I was deceived. I just said, how could such a good thing happen to me? Wu Yu's face turned black and she almost fell to the ground, shouting loudly that she had been deceived. Ding, convey the message on behalf of heaven, have confidence. Although it is difficult to accumulate divine notes, they can help you save your life in critical moments. How to say it? Wu Yu reluctantly perked up and asked in anticipation of AI. Each burning of a divine note can increase one's strength tenfold. If used in conjunction with Mind Storm, it is a life-saving artifact. Oh, there's such a good thing. What is a Mind Storm? Wu Yu calmed down. Specifically, the young master can view it on his own in the system. Wait, why do we have to wait for 10 days? The foundation construction period also needs to wait for 20 days to improve the spiritual root level once. What if I had accumulated 10 divine notes in advance? Wu Yu suddenly thought of this question. Ding, chewing too much is not enough. Improving the level of spiritual roots also requires time and a process. In order to help the young master go further in his future cultivation, the system lays a solid foundation that is as solid as a rock. 10 days is already the fastest time to increase the level of spiritual roots. Foundation construction period, including the time required for spiritual root level improvement in each major realm in the future, except for special circumstances. The Heaven and Earth Divine Sound System aims to promote the Tao of Heaven and Earth Divine Sound, and benefit all living beings in the world. To spread the message on behalf of heaven, one must have perseverance. No matter what ups and downs you experience, don't give up easily. Stop, 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 stop. Can't I pass it on yet with such a host on the stall? It's endless to talk about. Although it seemed reasonable, Wu Yu wanted to cry without tears and had to urgently stop. Oh, why is it so smelly? Wu Yuzheng is preparing to open the system and see what Mind Storm is. Suddenly, an unpleasant smell came and I realized that it was impurities excreted from my body when I broke through. He immediately rushed to the bathroom and started cleaning his whole body. When he walked out of the bathroom again, he realized that it was getting dark and had been practicing for a whole day without realizing it. He stretched his hands and feet, freely moved his muscles and bones, feeling refreshed and indescribably comfortable. Gulu, Gulu, at this moment, a protest came from his stomach. Wu Yu laughed in silence, and Xianyin walked out of the mansion and casually ate something. When he returned to the mansion, he was startled. In front of his mansion, there were crowds of people, afraid that there might not be around 100 or so people. Master Wu, you have completed your cultivation. Wang Baochang approached with a smile on his face. Well, I don't know why Wang Baochang and his fellow villagers are here. What's the point? Wu Yu nodded casually. He found that most of the people were familiar faces who came last night. Well, the villagers think the tone you played last night is too melodious. We have never heard such a beautiful piece of music before, and everyone still wants to listen. I don't know. Wang Baochang still had a big smile on his face. Wu Gongzi is truly a divine being. Since I heard the tune you played last night, I slept until dawn and even dreamed of 2 butterflies 17, said the 80-year-old man. Oh, I also dreamed of 2 butterflies. It seems like a fight, one chasing after the other without letting go. I have also cured my years of insomnia, another 17, said the 80-year-old man. Young Master Wu, please be kind and give us some more credit. The tone you're playing is too melodious, young Master Wu, don't worry. We will leave after listening to the music and will not disturb your cultivation, Wu Gongzi, please be kind. Everyone was full of gossip, and they kept pleasing Wu Yu, wanting to hear him play music again. Okay. Since everyone enjoys listening to music, welcome everyone to come and invite everyone inside. Wu Yu smiled and extended his hand to invite each other. He remembered the system prompt, since transmitting sound on behalf of heaven can improve spiritual root talent, let's start from now on. Although the goal of 100,000 is far from being achieved, there is finally hope now. As long as you take the first step and accumulate knowledge, there will always be a day of success. Wu Gongzi, these are some fruits and vegetables that I have grown at home. Please try them fresh. Wu Gongzi, this is the egg laid by my old hen. Everyone, what are you doing here? In the future, if you want to listen to music, we welcome everyone to come at any time. You don't need to be so polite. Wu Yu just realized that almost everyone came with something in their hands. A handful of garlic, a handful of scallions, a melon and fruit, a handful of vegetables, and someone holding a fish or something. Wu Gongzi, these are all self-grown and not worth much money. Young Master Wu, you took the trouble to play music for us. This is our intention. Please accept it. Everyone looked at him with gratitude on their faces, and Wang Baochang also held a big winter melon and asked him to accept it. Okay, thank you very much for the gifts from the villagers. Wu Yu arched his hand towards them. Chapter 5. The lingering sound lingers around the beam for 3 days without stopping. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In order not to disappoint everyone's hearts, he took all these things one by one. I also instructed Baochang Wang to help him recruit a group of servants tomorrow. The moon was bright and the wind was clear. Everyone gathered around Wu Yu and once again arrived at the bottom of the purple bamboo forest. They sat or stood, their eyes bright as they watched Wu Yu's every move. Encountering a close friend in high mountains and flowing water, searching for a close friend at the ends of the earth and the corners of the sea. The transmission of sound from heaven is aimed at benefiting all living beings in the world. I would like to offer you the song Liang Zhu and encourage you together. Wu Yu looked at the crowd and sang loudly, then picked up the jade sound divine flute and slowly leaned towards his lips. Everyone was curious, but they didn't understand the meaning of Prince Wu's move. But it was inconvenient to ask, so I had to keep it to myself. I just realized that Mr. Wu seems to be different from yesterday. A head of flowing long hair, swaying with the wind, on a handsome face, there is a natural and innocent smile. Wearing a moon-white monk robe, standing out from the crowd. A dusty aura, like a divine being. Wu. As the first sound of the flute sounded, everyone's hearts were filled with excitement, as if hearing a fairy tune. They quickly held their breath and listened carefully. I just feel that tonight's flute sound, with a round tone and a wide range, hits the soul directly. In the beautiful voice, it is gripping and stirring. Unconsciously, they were all addicted to it one by one. Wu Yu found that tonight when playing the jade sound divine flute, every note is very clear. Especially in the rotation of the melody, there is no sense of dullness or stagnation, and everything is completely natural. When he tried to use the divine sound cultivation technique to play, his whole body trembled and he almost ran out of tune. Only then did I realize that my divine sense had grown significantly, reaching a terrifying 20 zhang search range. The search range for divine consciousness of a typical qi refining dual cultivator is only about 2 zhang. This is the search range for divine consciousness that only dual cultivators can achieve in building foundations. Can Xianyin cultivate spiritual skills and also cultivate spiritual consciousness? Wu Yu's face was full of doubt. Ding, as long as you master the divine sound cultivation technique, it will automatically run in your body, constantly helping you cut hair and wash marrow, and helping you improve your physique. Once you take the initiative to cultivate or transmit sounds from heaven, it will have a transformative effect, improve your physique, and increase your spiritual awareness. My goodness, isn't it that I've been practicing all my dreams? Wu Yu couldn't help but exclaim in surprise, feeling deeply moved. Young master, you can understand it this way. Xianyin cultivates the spirit, not by blowing, it is the highest of heaven and earth. Stop, stop, stop. Wu Yu quickly stepped on the brake. I wholeheartedly applied the divine sound cultivation technique and slowly began to play. The melodious sound of the flute became increasingly melodious, and everyone was mesmerized by it. As they looked at Wu Yu's movements, they became more elegant and more free-spirited. Like flowing clouds and flowing water, without any discord, everything is so natural, harmonious, and natural. They all listened in a daze. Some couldn't help but dance gracefully to the sound of the flute, some couldn't help but shake their heads one by one, immersing themselves in it. Wu. At the end of the song, everyone still stood in place, unwilling to leave for a long time. In the end, they all gave Wu Yu a grateful glance and silently left the house with a genuine smile. Ding, Daitian Chuanin, great success. The young master moved everyone present this time, achieving a 100% success rate. In addition to other creatures, a total of 500 creatures were touched and have been automatically recorded in the system, rewarding you with 10 lower-level spirit stones. I hope you will double your efforts and spread the divine voice widely. Oh, there are only 90 people in the field, how could there be 500 creatures? Wu Yu said with some confusion. Ding, as long as it has vital signs, it is called a living creature. Including the purple bamboo forest behind the young master, as well as the small animals underground, and the young master's level of investment, all of which are included in the statistics. So that's it. Did you say it earlier? How about I keep blowing on? Can I keep recording it in the system? Wu Yu looked excited. Ding, in principle, it is possible. In fact, the young master should embody the heavenly heart above, and harmonize with humanity below. Everything has its limits and should not be deliberately done, I understand. Wu Yu thought for a moment and felt that it made sense, feeling relieved in her heart. Instead, I adjusted my mood again, checked the system, and practiced the mind storm. Heaven and earth have great paths, and the world has divine sounds. The sound of wind, rain, and so on, all natural sounds in the world are the divine sounds of heaven and earth. The storm of the soul is composed of 4 natural sounds: wind, rain, thunder, and electricity. If one can achieve success in cultivation, strike directly at the souls of living beings. Wu Yu was secretly taken aback, checking the system and practicing the mind storm technique, trying to cultivate it. He decided to first practice the wind in the mind storm. Wind, invisible and formless, yet truly exists. When it comes, a strong wind suddenly rises, setting off boundless waves. When I leave, the The gentle breeze brushes my face like delicate jade fingers, as if gentle. However, Wu Yu used the divine sound cultivation technique to cultivate the wind in the spiritual storm, which was different from the previous two. Without the need for any props, simply use the divine sound cultivation technique and apply the wind, cultivated by divine consciousness to directly strike the soul. As the sky cleared, Wu Yu slowly withdrew from his cultivation, still amazed by the wind he had been practicing. If there were no divine sound cultivation techniques, one would never have imagined that the wind in nature could be unleashed using such a unique technique. He really wants to try how powerful the wind is when he practices it himself. However, due to the lack of suitable experimental subjects, it had to be abandoned. After breakfast, Wu Yu was preparing to continue his cultivation when Wang Baochang excitedly led a large group of people to the mansion. Wu Gongzi, this is the person you asked me to find. They heard that the young master's mansion was recruiting people and eagerly signed up. 10 men and 10 women each requiring only 1 or 2 taels of silver per month, Wang Baochang excitedly said. I have seen Prince Wu. The 20 people recruited quickly bowed slightly to Wu Yu. Thank you, Mr. Wang. Okay, everyone stay. In the future, the 3 meals a day in the mansion will be entrusted to you as soon as possible. Wu Yu smiled happily and said. He saw these 20 people, all middle-aged men and women around 50 years old, looking kind and friendly, so he kept them all. Thank you very much, young Master Wu. The 20 people were overjoyed at the words and quickly thanked him. Ordinary families only earn 5 or 6 taels of silver throughout the year, but they can earn 12 taels in the Wu Gongzi mansion. I wonder if you need a butler at the young master's mansion. The little old man volunteered without any compensation, just wanted to listen to the music. Wang Baochang looked at him with a hopeful expression on his face. Okay, you'll be the butler. In the future, you will be responsible for arranging everything in the mansion. Wu Yuzheng had a headache and how to arrange these people. Upon hearing this, he immediately waved his hand. Thank you very much, young master. Wang Baochang was overjoyed. Next, Wu Yu plunged into the practice of spiritual storm. Little did they know that he was completely immersed in his cultivation. A piece of news about him slowly spread in Xianyin town. Chapter 6. Xianyin. Divine Sound. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What, after listening to the music played by Lord Wu, I ate my fill, slept soundly, and was able to treat my illness. Treating insomnia, fatigue, lumbar disc herniation, and so on, all-encompassing diseases. Wu Gongzi is a fairy who descended to the mortal world, bringing fairy sounds and so on to the general public. News flew everywhere, slowly spreading throughout the nearby towns and villages. At dusk, Wu Yu slowly finished his work with a joyful expression on his face. After a day of cultivation, following the successful cultivation of wind in spiritual storm, he once again mastered the method of using rain. When he found himself sweating profusely again, he secretly sighed at the extraordinary cultivation technique of Xianyin. After taking a shower, changing clothes, and waiting for him to come out refreshed and energetic, he had his first sumptuous dinner at the mansion. Young master, news about you has been circulating in the town all day today, saying that the tone you promoted can cure illnesses. After dinner, as he leisurely sipped his tea, he pondered how to transmit the message from heaven to move more creatures. Wang Baochang walked over with a joyful expression on his face. Oh, there's such a thing. Wang Baochang, what do you think? Wu Yu was taken aback for a moment, and then he asked Wang Baochang again. To be honest, young master. After listening to your tunes, the old man feels happy and has a pleasant look. He is much more energetic than before. Young master, are you really a fairy descending to the mortal world? Wang Baochang asked with a smile. I will pass on the message on behalf of the heavens, and in the future, you should listen more. There are many benefits. Wu Yu smiled and nodded ambiguously. He couldn't understand what was going on, maybe it was a misunderstanding. If he could borrow the words of Immortals and attract more people to listen to the music, he would also be so happy. Definitely, definitely. I'll just say it, no wonder the tone played by the young master is so beautiful. It turns out that it's really a fairy descending to earth. Wang Baochang's expression remained upright, and he looked at him respectfully. Young master, many people came outside the house in the afternoon. As soon as it got dark, I went to take a look again, and now there are people everywhere outside. Young master, you play that tune well, and now more and more people are listening to the music. How about we also get a ticket or something and charge some tea money? What do you think? Wang Baochang suggested to him again. No, no. Wang Baochang, this is absolutely inappropriate. Wu Yu was startled and quickly stopped him loudly. Almost kicked this guy out without a single kick. What bad idea did you come up with? Isn't it ruining your cultivation plan? Mr. Wang, not only can we not charge any fees, but we also warmly welcome their arrival. Well, you and everyone should all say that we should greet each other with a smile and provide thoughtful service, making those who come to listen to the music feel at home. This reminded Wu Yu and quickly instructed Wang Baochang. Yes, yes. Young master, what is attentive service? What else makes you feel at home? Wang Baochang nodded in confusion and asked with some confusion. For example, for those who come to listen to music, they need to drink water, go to the restroom, and so on, and we need to provide them with services. Make them feel as convenient and comfortable as returning to their own homes. Wu Yu explained to him. Wang Baochang nodded and said that there was no need for the young master to worry about these aspects. He would arrange everything properly. Let's go ahead and take a look. Subsequently, Wu Yu spoke to Wang Baochang again. When Wu Yu and Wang Baochang came to the front of the mansion to take a look, they were startled. I saw people everywhere in the dark, more than 10 times more than last night. I'm afraid there won't be over 1,000 people. Wu Gongzi, we're here again. Wu Gongzi, excuse me. The nearby neighbors immediately greeted Wu Yu with a smile as soon as he came out. Welcome, welcome, warm welcome. We welcome everyone to come at any time and hope that everyone can spread the word widely. More is better. Everyone, please come inside. Wu Yu also smiled and arched his hand around, then quickly extended his hand to invite him. Thank you very much, young Master Wu. Thank you, young Master Wu. The onlookers around saw that Lord Wu was so hospitable, and they all smiled and thanked him one after another. Then, a swarm of bees surged towards the mansion. Everyone, don't squeeze. Please line up and walk slowly inside one by one. Since Lord Wu has agreed to everyone listen to the music, I hope you will follow the order, not crowd, not cause chaos, and not make loud noises. Wang Baochang, along with a group of servants, quickly took charge of maintaining order and loudly called out to everyone. Under the guidance of Wang Baochang and others, everyone slowly restored order. When they walked into the Wu mansion, they saw brilliant lights everywhere. Most people are ordinary people who come from far and wide, rushing over from outside. When they heard rumors in the town that Wu Gongzi from Wu Mansion was a fairy descending to the mortal world, and the melody he played was beautiful and melodious, and he could also treat illnesses. They rushed one by one from outside, either to see something new or to personally experience whether it was really so magical. Encountering a close friend in high mountains and flowing water, searching for a close friend at the ends of the earth and the corners of the sea. The transmission of sound from heaven is aimed at benefiting all living beings in the world. Presenting the poem, High Mountains and Flowing Waters today, to encourage you together. As everyone was discussing and looking at the Wu mansion, Wu Yu had already sat on the ground under the purple bamboo forest, singing loudly with a jade flute in his hand. Wu. As a melodious flute sounded, everyone was curious, but gradually their voices became less and less. As the melody softened, everyone stopped discussing and instead focused on listening. The continuous sound of the flute rises with the wind, complementing the bright moonlight, gradually blending into the moonlight and interweaving with each other. Like smoke, like mist, like clouds in the melodious sound of the flute, everyone gradually merged into a dreamy scene. They looked calm and intoxicated one by one, with heartfelt smiles also appearing on their faces. Bomb! Just as Wu Yu was blown away like a madness, forgetting both things and me. Everyone was also intoxicated and immersed in it. Wisps of spiritual energy from heaven and earth, centered around Wu Yu, spontaneously surged towards him from all directions. Wu's worried mind was shaken, and he felt the convergence of spiritual energy from heaven and earth, with the source of righteousness constantly surging into his body. Under the guidance of the divine sound cultivation technique, I repeatedly helped him to shave his hair and wash his marrow, improve his physique, and elevate his spiritual root level. Under great joy, Wu Yu became even more focused, playing without any distractions. At this moment, a magical scene appeared, for all those deeply moved and immersed in the beautiful sound of the flute. Suddenly, they seemed to resonate with Wu Yu. While the spiritual energy of heaven and earth helped Wu Yu wash his flesh and soul, he continuously practiced and also sprinkled some spiritual energy onto them to some extent. Under the guidance of the sound of flutes, although they do not understand cultivation, they are invisibly helping them improve their physical fitness. All of this is happening silently, and no one is aware of it. They just open their hearts, immersed in the beautiful and melodious sound of the flute, yearning for it, lingering on and forgetting to leave. Chapter 7. Golden Pudding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Woo. When the last sound of the flute came, the entire audience was silent. Everyone was still immersed in the beautiful sound of the flute, unable to come to their senses for a long time. Ding, congratulations on your great success, young master. A total of 2,500 living beings were moved, and a reward of 20 lower-grade spirit stones was given. I hope you will continue to work hard and spread the divine voice. Wu Yu was overjoyed, although he didn't know how the system specifically calculated it. But it seems that there is always more than I estimate. As he looked inside the storage ring, there were 20 more inferior spirit stones, and immediately he joyfully threw himself into the spiritual storm and the practice of thunder. On the evening of the third day, after successfully practicing the wind, rain, and other elements in the spiritual storm, he mastered the method of using thunder. When he took a shower, changed clothes, had dinner, and came to the front of the mansion, he saw a sea of people everywhere. Young master, there are too many people coming tonight, probably several thousand. Last night we were extremely busy, and I was worried about not having enough manpower to entertain us. Wang Baochang looked at the dark crowd outside and couldn't help wiping the cold sweat from his forehead. Pop. Wu Yu casually gave him a lower-grade spirit stone and said, Wang Baochang, recruit another 100 people tomorrow and keep up with all the corresponding service facilities. Be sure to make everyone feel at home. If you don't have enough money, keep asking me for it. Okay, young master. Enough, too much. How could you spend so much silver? Wang Baochang took over the Lingers road. Ding, congratulations, young master. You have achieved great success. Moved a total of 5,500 creatures, rewarded with 20 lower-grade spirit stones. I hope you will continue to work hard and achieve excellent results. When he finished playing and heard the system prompt, he broke through the 5,000 mark and his mouth was crooked with a smile. On the fourth day, the total number exceeded 8,000, and on the fifth day, the total number finally exceeded 10,000. Meanwhile, Wu Yu also obtained a precious divine note for the first time. Next, the venue was almost packed, with over 10,000 people every day. Wu Yu receives a divine note and 20 lower-grade spirit stones every day. In the midst of a great situation, he successfully cultivated all the elements of wind, rain, thunder, and electricity in the spiritual storm. He also purchased pills from the lower-grade spirit stones he received as rewards for his own cultivation. with the improvement of spiritual roots and the support of numerous pills. It only took him 5 days to fully consolidate, just breaking through the second primary stage of qi cultivation, and now he has reached the intermediate stage. On the 11th day, there were 20,000 terrifying people in the field, and when he finished playing the last note. Ding, congratulations, young master. You have achieved great success. Moved a total of 11,000 creatures, accumulating 11 divine notes for the first time. Reward 1 opportunity to enhance spiritual roots, increase spiritual awareness by 20 zhang, 1 divine note, 1 platform for transmitting heavenly sounds, and a lower-grade spiritual stone of 200 yuan. I hope young master can spread the divine voice and create new glory. The familiar system prompt sounded again, just accumulating 10 divine notes that instantly turned into wisps of green energy, slowly rising from his body. His spiritual roots have risen from a mediocre level to a superior level at a visible speed to the naked eye. Divine consciousness has increased from 20 zhang to 40 zhang in search range. TSK, what a great thing. There are 200 lower-grade spirit stones added to the storage ring. Wu Yu, who was checking the reward, gave a smack of his mouth, feeling a series of emotions. What is the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform? Later, he took out another object from the storage ring, resembling a dandelion, with a faint golden light shining on it. At the same time, an ancient, distant, and sacred aura rushed towards us. Ding, Dai Tian Xuanyin platform, is a performance platform exclusively for young masters. Area size, synchronized with the young master's divine consciousness. Versatile and versatile. It can also be used for meditation, cultivation, and other activities, and has a calming effect on the mind, as long as the young master refines it, inputs spiritual energy or puts spiritual stones in it, you can freely change its size, adjust its height, and let the young master freely use it. Wu Yu was overjoyed and couldn't help but immediately offer sacrifices to the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform. The onlookers around saw that after Wu Yu finished playing, they took out a golden cattail, as if he was practicing. They slowly withdrew from the house under the leadership of Wang Baochang and his servants. After everyone left, Wu Yu also completed the ritual refining of the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform and placed a lower-grade spirit stone inside. When he laid the last imprint of divine consciousness, he instantly felt a sense of empathy and sat down on it. Get up. Wu Yu's divine sense moved, and he saw the Dai Tian transmission platform tremble and rise. Big. Wu Yu's divine sense once again moved, and he saw that the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform was getting bigger and bigger. Finally, it expanded to a terrifying 40 zhang range, almost covering the entire purple bamboo forest, and no longer continued to expand, just like the coverage of his divine consciousness. Next, Wu Yu had a great time playing, flying high into the air, landing on the ground, getting bigger, and shrinking again. He is quickly mastering and familiarizing himself with the various functions and roles of the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform. He found that this platform can also be used as a flying magic weapon. I only hate that my strength is too low, it's just a bit of a waste of energy. At dawn, when he finally mastered the various functions of the Dai Tian platform, his divine sense moved and the Dai Tian communication platform automatically entered his own sea of consciousness. With a movement of divine consciousness, it automatically appeared in front of oneself. Good baby. Wu Yu couldn't help but burst out laughing. Later, he found himself still in high spirits, without any signs of fatigue. I secretly speculate that it may be related to the divine sound cultivation technique. Now that you have reached the mortal level top-grade spiritual root, I believe your cultivation speed will also be improved. Bathing, changing clothes, and having a delicious breakfast. Wu Yu can't wait to give it a try. Young master, the richest man in Xianyin town, Mr. Xuanhuan, came to the door of the mansion and said he had something important to ask you for. I wonder if the young master has seen you or not. Just as Wu Yu was about to go to practice, Wang Baochang rushed over with a cheerful expression on his face. Boss Yang, that Boss Yang. Wu Yu was taken aback at the words. It's the guy who made a fortune selling medicinal herbs. Every time, he leads a large group of people and sits in front listening to the young master playing music. Wang Baochang explained to him. What is he doing here? Wu Yu still couldn't remember this person and couldn't help but ask in confusion. Well, the old man was in a hurry just now and didn't have a chance to ask. Wang Baochang gave a bitter smile. Wang Baochang, please take him to the living room first, and I will come over later. Yes, young master. Wang Baochang quickly agreed and walked out excitedly. Later, when Wu Yu walked into the reception hall, he saw Wang Baochang chatting with a middle-aged man who was white, chubby, and had a wealthy face. Young Xuanhuan has met Prince Wu and has long admired his fame. He is a fairy descending to the mortal world. Especially the tone played by the young master, it is heartwarming, like hearing fairy music. Upon seeing Wu Yu, young Xuanhuan immediately stood up with a smile and arched his hand at him. Boss Yang, there's no need to be polite. Just let me know if you have anything. Wu Yu also smiled. Chapter 8. Initial Exhibition of Skills. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. He found that Mr. Yang was just an ordinary person with no spiritual roots in his body and no cultivation qualifications. Okay, since Prince Wu is so straightforward, then Yang will speak frankly. Since listening to the song played by the young master, we can't forget it and come to visit almost every night. Especially the old man at home, the more he listened, the more energetic he became, and he frankly said that Xianyin was just like that. In 3 days, it happens to be the old man's 80th birthday. We offer 10,000 taels of silver and 30 pieces of lower-grade spirit stones as special gifts, and would like to invite Lord Wu to come to the mansion to present a song. I don't know what Prince Wu means. Young Xuanhuan looked at him with a respectful expression on his face. After speaking, he looked at Wu Yu with a nervous expression on his face, as if afraid that he wouldn't agree. Wang Baochang was greatly surprised and couldn't help but look at young Xuanhuan with some surprise. Well, Mr. Yang, you should know that we are originally practitioners and have never participated in worldly affairs. Wu Yu hesitated for a moment. Wang Baochang was taken aback again, looking at him with some disbelief. I know. Yang shouldn't have disturbed the young master's cultivation. I hope that the young master, considering his father's 80th birthday, would like to listen to a piece of music for the sake of liveliness. I also hope that the young master can complete it. Young Xuanhuan looked at him with a hopeful expression on his face. Alright, Master Wu, I'll add an additional 20 pieces of inferior spirit stones. I hope you can complete it. Young Xuanhuan gritted his teeth when he saw Wu Yu's expression on his face, and then he added another sentence. Cough, young master, Mr. Yang, and even a truly sincere person. This time, it's to celebrate his old father's birthday again. Look. Wang Baochang next to him couldn't help but interject. Anyway, Boss Yang, it's not impossible to agree to you. However, I have one condition. Wu Yu glanced at Wang Baochang and slowly spoke to Yang Xuanhuan. Wu Gongzi said it's okay, as long as Yang can do it, there will be no hesitation. Yang Baiwan gratefully glanced at Wang Baochang and then bowed to Wu Yu. Boss Yang, during my performance at your mansion, I cannot prevent anyone from coming to listen to music. And, corresponding service measures should also be taken to ensure that everyone is at home. Otherwise, I will reject your invitation this time. Wu Yu looked at him indifferently. Oh my, such a small matter, Yang naturally saved it. Don't worry, Lord Wu. My mansion can accommodate up to 100,000 people without any problem. Just, what service are you talking about? Yang Xuanhuan repeatedly patted his chest and loudly promised, but then he felt a little confused. Regarding the specific details of the service, you can consult with Mr. Wang later. Okay, thank you very much, young Master Wu. Wu Gongzi, then let's settle this matter like this. Yang Baiwan glanced at Wang Baochang, nodded, and then said to Wu Yu. Okay. Seeing Mr. Yang's filial piety and sincerity in congratulating his father on his birthday, I reluctantly made an exception. Wu Yu nodded. Thank you very much, Lord Wu. Thank you very much, Lord Wu. Someone, hurry up and help me bring everything in. Yang Xuanhuan was overjoyed and immediately felt immensely grateful to Wu Yu. Later, he shouted at the door again. Wu Gongzi, this is 10,000 taels of silver, this is 30 inferior spirit stones, and the remaining 20 inferior spirit stones. I will send someone to the mansion immediately. Yang Million said happily. Wu Yu nodded, his divine sense flashed, and he put 30 pieces of inferior spirit stones into the storage ring, while handing over 10,000 taels of silver to Wang Baochang for safekeeping. Subsequently, he finalized some performance details with Yang Xuanhuan. The time is set for 3 nights later. Amidst the envious gazes of Yang Xuanhuan, Wang Baochang, and others, Wu Yu greeted them and hurriedly went to practice. As soon as Wu Yu started practicing, he was pleasantly surprised to find that after reaching the top-grade spiritual root at the mortal level, his cultivation speed was indeed slightly faster than usual. Taking a shower, changing clothes, and just as Wu Yu finished her cultivation, she appeared refreshed in the courtyard. Wang Baochang walked over with a big package and a smile on his face, saying, young master, you've made a fortune. This is the remaining 20 inferior spirit stones sent by Boss Yang. I have brought them to you. Wang Baochang, this person is generous, what is his background? Wu Yu took the spirit stone handed over by him and couldn't help but be surprised. In order to ask himself to help his father celebrate his birthday, he tirelessly spent 50 inferior spirit stones, which is more than 500,000 taels of silver. Judging from his appearance, it seems quite relaxed. Young master, Mr. Yang's ancestors have always made a living by collecting herbs. Later on, he gradually developed into selling medicinal herbs for himself, thus quickly accumulating wealth. It is said that its wealth is comparable to that of a country. Unfortunately, although Boss Yang has a lot of wealth, he has been unable to cultivate immortality due to his own qualifications. Perhaps he envied the young master for being a cultivator of immortality, and the music he played was truly captivating and heartwarming. So he spared no expense and asked the young master to congratulate his father on his birthday. Wang Baochang seemed to have a good understanding of Yang Xuanhuan and patiently explained to him immediately. Well, Chief Wang, you can handle the silver in your mansion. Each person's wages will double. Those who perform well will be rewarded. Okay. Young master, the old man thanks you all for your kindness and righteousness. Wang Baochang nodded with a smile on his face. Over the next 3 days, almost all the venues were packed, reaching around 20,000 people every day. Wu Yu's mouth was crooked with a smile. He received 2 divine notes every day, and with the accumulation of 1 divine note in the front area, he received a total of 7 divine notes and 60 lower-grade spirit stones. On the 4th day, the whole Xianyin town was full of excitement. Since 3 days ago, Yang Xuanhuan, the richest man in Xianyin town, has ordered people to spread the news everywhere. His old man celebrates his 80th birthday today. And invited Wu Youwu, who had recently gained great fame and claimed to be a fairy descending to the mortal world, to personally congratulate his old master on his birthday, and everyone eagerly awaited him. In these 3 days, the carriage that entered Yang Mansion has never stopped. On the 4th day, there was even more traffic, which almost blocked the traffic in Xianyin town. At night, the entire Yang Mansion was decorated with lights and colorful decorations, creating a joyful atmosphere. All guests, whether they recognize or not, do not need gifts. As long as they say congratulations to Mr. Yang on his birthday, they can enter the Yang Mansion for free to eat and drink. Everyone was shocked by the boldness of the Yang Mansion, especially those who came to listen to the music. After hearing such good news, they all rushed towards the Yang Mansion. At night, a bright moon shines in the sky. All the guests from Yang Mansion, after eating and drinking, whispered and seemed to be anticipating something. Encountering a close friend in high mountains and flowing water, searching for a close friend at the ends of the earth and the corners of the sea. The transmission of sound from heaven is aimed at benefiting all living beings in the world. I would like to present the poem, 100 Birds Facing the Phoenix, wishing Mr. Yang good fortune as the East China Sea and a longer life than the South Mountain. At the same time, I also encourage you all. Good. What a blessing like the East China Sea, and a longer life than the South Mountain. Master Wu, truly worthy of being a fairy descending to the mortal world. As Wu Yulang sang, all the people of Yang Mansion cheered loudly. Oh, where is Master Wu? Everyone found that they only heard his voice, but did not see him. Chapter 9. A girl in the Yang family becomes young. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Wu. With a melodious flute sound, people still haven't found where Wu Xianqi is. Look, Master Wu is on the moon. Someone suddenly pointed to the sky. What? Everyone quickly looked up and saw the bright moon hanging high. Under the bright moonlight, Master Wu was dressed in a monk's robe, with long hair floating in the wind, as if he had been banished from the mortal world. Hanging high in the sky, shining brightly, as if wearing a mysterious cloak, emitting a divine and holy light all over. Immortals descend to the mortal world. Master Wu is truly a fairy descending to the mortal world. No wonder every time I listen to music, I feel comfortable all over. Originally, Master Wu transmitted the sound on behalf of heaven, and it was a fairy sound. Yes, Master Wu is a fairy descending to the mortal world. He plays the fairy tune. Every time I listen to music, I blow away those old problems from me. The onlookers below all pointed at Wu Yu in the sky. They are all praising while not stingy with their own words of praise. We pay our respects to Master Wu. Thank you for treating us and bringing us such a beautiful fairy voice. Some people couldn't help but bow down to Wu Yu in the sky. Wow! As this person began to kneel, Wu Yangyang knelt down in a large area. A person who cultivates immortals and escapes to heaven and earth is not uncommon in this continent. Most ordinary people, although limited by their own qualifications and unable to cultivate, have heard some legends about cultivators. But like Wu Yu, being able to get them in close contact with people who cultivate immortals. And, through wonderful music, they were able to cure some of their own illnesses, which is extremely rare. Through these days of continuous practice, Wu Yu has become increasingly proficient and adept at mastering the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform. Under the influence of the Dai Tian Xuanyin platform's concentration and calmness, the soul quickly entered a void and began to play wholeheartedly. The sound of the flute is melodious, sometimes like a magpie reporting good news, like the first cry of a young warbler, or like the chirping of 100 birds, and so on. Everyone was mesmerized and soon immersed in the beautiful melody. Woo! At the end of a song, the lingering sound lingers. Ding, congratulations, young master. You have achieved great success. Moved more than 30,000 creatures, obtained 3 divine notes, and accumulated 10 divine notes. Reward. The Dai Tian Xuanyin platform has added a windproof function, increased spiritual awareness by 20 zhang, and a lower-grade spirit stone worth 200 yuan. Hope the young master can spread the message from generation to generation, and continue to work hard to spread it widely. Will you quickly happily check the rewards and accumulated 10 divine notes again? I only hate that the number of days is not enough, otherwise I can increase my spiritual root level again. The divine consciousness reached 60 zhang, and there were 200 lower-grade spirit stones added to the storage ring. Wait, what is a windproof function? I saw an invisible aura rising from the Dai Tian communication platform, enveloping him and blocking the invasion of the wind. Wu Yu was pleasantly surprised and couldn't close her mouth. In just about half a month, my cultivation has broken through to the second level of refining qi, and now I have reached the intermediate stage, with a second level of spiritual root improvement. Ding, 1,000 miles of marriage is tied by a thread. Heaven and Earth Divine Sound System, discovering the name of Son of Divine Sound, will young master lead. What do you mean by not pulling? Wu Yu was checking the reward when suddenly he was startled by the system prompt sound. Ding, the Heaven and Earth Divine Sound System, discovered a person with musical talent who was automatically selected by the Heaven and Earth Divine Sound Avenue, known as the Son of Divine Sound. If the young master can successfully hold hands with the Son of Divine Sound, tie a happy knot, and together convey the message to heaven. There are many benefits and income. Well, what if this Son of Divine Sound is a man? Wu Yu woke up. Ding, the Heaven and Earth Divine Sound System chooses Son of Divine Sound, all of whom are unmarried and extraordinary women with the spiritual beauty of Zhong Tiandi and the talent of Divine Sound. They are all beautiful and beautiful, each with a national beauty and heavenly fragrance. Does the young master lead or not? How to pull it? Wu Yu calmed down. A beautiful woman is easy to say. If it's a man, she might even be pulling a yarn. Wu Yu needs to see how the system's perspective is and whether it truly embodies the beauty of the country. Ding, young master, just find the place where your aura shines, and inside is the Son of Divine Sound. What is aura? Aura. Wu Yu stood on the Dai Tian Xianyin platform and looked around. The crowd below was filled with darkness and silence, as if they were still immersed in the melodious sound of the flute. The bright moonlight shone brilliantly on the entire Yang mansion. A sacred aura suddenly descended from the sky, emitting a blazing light, shining straight on the woman above the railing of a loft in Yang mansion. Hey, it seems a bit overweight. Wu Yu immediately noticed the place where her aura shone, and the woman inside seemed a bit overweight. Whoosh, with a movement of divine consciousness, the Daitian communication platform immediately carried him and slowly drifted towards the railing of the attic. Wow! Wu Yogun's movement caused a commotion among the onlookers. This is something that has never happened before. Before, every time Master Wu finished playing, he was either practicing or meditating. This was the first time in history. Oh, why did a blazing light suddenly appear there? The people who have been staring at Wu Yu's every move are even more unblinking at this moment. While they were all puzzled, they also discovered that sacred aura. The onlookers around pointed to his direction of movement while discussing it one after another. Ah! With Wu Yu's arrival, a scream echoed from above the attic, mixed with the screams of some women. Wu, Master Wu, I have paid off the spiritual stone. The remaining spirit stones were all handed over to Director Wang Yang. Xuanhuan saw Wu Yu flying straight towards the attic and thought he was here to ask for his account, so he quickly explained loudly to him. Boss Yang, rest assured that your account has been settled. My young master's visit this time is to search for someone on behalf of heaven. Wu Yujing stood at the railing and smiled slightly. Dai Tian searching for people. Yang Baiwan looked at him in confusion. I don't know what this girl's name is like. When Wu Yu looked at the woman with a radiant expression, his eyes suddenly lit up and his smile became even more brilliant. He found the woman in front of him, 29 years old, full-bodied, with a closed moon and shy flowers, which was captivating at first sight. Her aura shone on her, enduring for a long time, filled with a divine aura. Young woman Yang Yuhuan, I have met Master Wu Xian. The woman in the shining aura was slightly blessed and smiled shyly. Yang Yuhuan, are you Yang Guifei? Wu Worry's mind was shaken by one of them, and he was greatly surprised. No, Wu Gongzi, you made a mistake. This is my daughter Yang Yuhuan, not any Yang Guifei. Yang Xuanhuan quickly walked over to explain. Cough, I wonder if this Yuhuan girl has ever been married. Wu Yu just woke up and quickly asked again to confirm. In his past life, although he had never seen Yang Yuhuan. But at this moment, as he looked at the woman in front of him with a radiant aura, he naturally remembered the peerless beauty of the ancient, fat and slender swallows. Due to some special reasons, the little girl has been waiting in her boudoir and has never been married. I don't know, what does Master Wu Xian mean by this move? Yang Baiwan was stunned and asked in confusion. Chapter 10. Young Master, do you lead or not? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Boss Yang, this young master represents Tian in transmitting messages and also represents Tian in finding people. I have now discovered that your girl has a talent for divine sounds and is the chosen son of heaven. If we can form a Qin-Jin friendship with our young master and practice the art of music and rhythm together, we will be able to transmit music from generation to generation, which will bring many benefits. Wu Yu looked at Xuanhuan. Divine voice talent, chosen son of heaven, Qin. Xuanhuan was suddenly confused by this series of questions and couldn't help murmuring to himself. For a moment, he looked at Wu Yu and didn't know what to say. Simply put, it means marrying your girl to me. Wu Yujian couldn't explain clearly at once, so he decided to get straight to the point. What, marry you? Xuanhuan was startled again. This is too direct. Xuanhuan is completely confused. Bomb. The onlookers around once again became in a state of uproar. They all believe that cultivators are different. Even such important life events are so direct, bold, and straightforward. Well, as long as this Yuhuan girl agrees to marry me, there will be many benefits. Wu Yu nodded. Girl, please promise to Master Wu quickly. This is a blessing you have earned over several lifetimes. Xuanhuan immediately woke up and was overjoyed. He quickly shouted loudly at Yang Yuhuan. Although he has accumulated a large amount of wealth, he has no spiritual roots in his body and has no chance to cultivate immortality in this life. He particularly envies those who practice. Now there is such a great opportunity for his only daughter to marry someone who cultivates immortality. He is eager for it, regardless of what he cultivates. Moreover, this Wu Immortal Master is handsome, young and wealthy, and has settled down here. Especially the tune he plays, such as smelling fairy music, can also treat people's illnesses. Such a virtuous son. Law, 1 in 1,000, cannot be found even with a lantern. Dad, this. Yang Yuhuan was suddenly at a loss and blushed with embarrassment. Looking at this handsome and straightforward young man in front of me. My heart is like a deer colliding, my heart is in chaos. Due to the girl's reserved demeanor, she couldn't let go of her inner constraints for a moment and had to urgently seek help from her father. Girl, what are you still doing in a daze? Promise quickly. Xuanhuan nodded vigorously at her while shouting loudly at Yang Yuhuan again. I wish I could agree on her behalf immediately. Jade, Yuhuan is willing. Yang Yuhuan smiled shyly and replied shyly. After speaking, he covered his cherry mouth and was too shy to look at Wu Yu again. Ding, congratulations, young master. Holding hands successfully. Reward the young master for an opportunity to enhance his spiritual roots, increase his spiritual awareness by 20 zhang, use a jade flute, have 10 years of experience playing the flute, and receive a lower grade spiritual stone of 2,000 yuan. Reward the son of Xianyin, an opportunity to change one's own qualifications, 10 years of experience in playing the flute, 1 cultivator robe, 1 storage ring, and 10 lower grade spirit stones. Please forward it on behalf of Tian, young master. Hey, isn't it not yet 10 days? How can we level up our spiritual roots again? Wu Yu looked puzzled. Ding, this is a special reward given by the system to you by the young master for making significant contributions to spreading the divine sound avenue and discovering the son of divine sound. How do I calculate the days I accumulated earlier? Wu Yu asked again. Ding, I have helped you build a talent for strengthening your spiritual roots, which will automatically be postponed for 10 days. If the young master goes further, he will tie the knot with the son of Xianyin and unite forever to spread the message for heaven. There are many rewards and benefits. I hope young master can spread the divine voice and create new glory. Well, okay. Wu Yu nodded helplessly. Huh, Sister Yuhuan doesn't have to be shy. She is naturally beautiful and possesses a talent for divine sounds, making her the chosen son of heaven. Since you have agreed to allow me to be my wife, the Heaven and Earth Divine Sound Avenue will grant Yuhuan's sister a chance to change her own qualifications and enter the path of cultivation. Let's spread the message together for the benefit of all living beings in the world. Wu Yu looked at young Yuhuan with a blushing face and red ears, her white and rosy skin covered in a crimson hue, and couldn't help but burst out laughing. Shua, a wisp of clear energy suddenly rose from Wu Yu's body, and his spiritual root was elevated from an ordinary level top grade to an ordinary level top grade. Brother Wu Yu, can I also practice? Yang Yuhuan instantly widened her beautiful eyes and looked at him with a surprised expression on her face. Of course you can. Wu Yu immediately said with a smile. Wow. The onlookers once again became in a state of uproar, and they couldn't help but start talking loudly. This is impossible. Yang Xuanhuan looked at Wu Yu in surprise, incredulous. Since ancient times, without a spiritual root, one cannot cultivate, which has been common knowledge on the Xianyin continent. He accumulated a large amount of wealth throughout his life, constantly seeking immortality and attempting to embark on a journey of cultivation. Moreover, he doesn't know his own girl yet. Just an ordinary person with no aptitude for cultivation. Please ask Sister Yuhuan to sit cross-legged, take a deep breath, close her eyes, and eliminate all distractions in her heart. Brother, this will teach you the way of cultivation. Wu Yu smiled and pointed to his Dai Tian Xuanyin platform. Suck, Yang Yuhuan nodded shyly and, as Wu Yu said, sat on the Dai Tian broadcasting platform, took a deep breath, and closed her eyes. There was a surge of waves in front of Wu, which shook his mind and almost made him unable to control it. I quickly applied the divine sound cultivation technique several times to calm my mind. Subsequently, with a flash of divine consciousness, a chance to change her qualifications was wrapped in a strand of divine consciousness, along with the cultivation techniques of Xianyin during the Qi cultivation period, which were imprinted into her mind. Yang Yuhuan felt only a wisp of clear energy rising from within her body, and suddenly a lot of things were added to her mind. Sister Yuhuan held this spiritual stone and tried to practice it according to the martial arts prompts. Wu Yu handed her a lower-grade spirit stone. So, this is it. Yang Xuanhuan still couldn't believe that Wu Yu called her a girl to cultivate so quickly. At this moment, Yang Yuhuan, who was holding a spirit stone in his hand, suddenly had a misty aura on his body, which was the scene of a person meditating and practicing in practice. This. Yang Xuanhuan was inexplicably shocked, unable to utter a single word. Alright, Sister Yuhuan, stop for now. This place is not suitable for cultivation. Wu Yu smiled. Yang Yuhuan nodded happily, and as she stood up again, she trembled with excitement, almost unable to control herself. A pair of beautiful eyes stared tightly at Wu Yu, their faces filled with surprise. Roar, a boy who only has a second level of cultivation in the refining period dares to harm the poor monk's good deeds. A thunderous sound suddenly came, and under the bright moonlight, a bald cultivator with a flying sword and a face full of flesh broke through the air, pointing at Wu Yu. Wow, everyone, run quickly. The demon flower monk has arrived. This guy kills and sets fire to all kinds of evil, specializing in raping young and beautiful women. Unexpectedly, the daughter of the Yang family's mansion was also targeted by him. The onlookers around recognized the bald cultivator's identity as soon as he arrived. They dispersed loudly, causing waves of chaos in the field. Who are you? Wu was startled by his worries and forced himself to remain calm. He found that the other party had reached the highest level of cultivation in the 9 levels of Qi refining.